Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is KidLee. Let's take a look at the brand new circuit board crafting system that is being put into Wildstar as part of their free-to-play revamp. I basically have a laundry list of things that we're going to go over in this video, and I'm going to show you how the new circuit board crafting works with all of the details. Now, the first item that we're going to go over is perhaps one of the biggest complaints about the circuit board crafting, and that was, let's say you're leveling up as a stalker and you wanted to try and keep up your crafting along with your level, but you didn't really want to craft swords and guns and all that other stuff. Well, you no longer have to. Kind of. What they've done is they have redone all of the tech trees, and they are now grouped by weapon type. So, if you want to just simply grind through all of the claws for your stalker and ignore the other things for a short time, you are able to finally do that. Now, if you want to actually get a 100% completion and unlock everything at the end of the weaponsmith, you know, down here at the bottom, you're still going to have to grind out, you know, swords and guns and all that other stuff. But at least this gives you a easier chance to grind out the weapon that you need. Next up on the list, I'll briefly mention that the recipes have been updated. The required mats across the board are more even when it comes to what you actually need to build the items. Power cores have also been completely redone in this new system. So let's go ahead and actually just jump into an item here that we can sort of mess around with. Now, when you hover over an item, it's going to tell you that there is a power core max level. And you can see on this one, the power core max level is 42. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on this and load up the schematic. And you can see kind of what this new interface is going to look like. You know, obviously the base level part of it is the same, but what you're actually doing in here is a little bit different. Now, once you hit this Start Craft button, all of your resources and money will be gone. So we're going to go ahead and click Start Craft on this one. And you can see here now it's starting to show up just a little bit different. Now, in the center here is where we're going to now select our power core. And the power core that you select now is going to determine the actual level of the item. Now, as I said before, this item had a, what was it, a 42 item level, but I actually don't have a power core for that. So I'm actually going to select this level 35, and this claw is going to be a level 35 claw. Now that I've selected that, a couple of things to note here. One, the power bar at the bottom automatically fills up. And they did this for a couple different reasons. When people were just simply grinding and grinding and grinding as quick as they could, they wanted to try and eliminate as many steps as possible. So they have got the grind part of this crafting down to 2 clicks. All you have to do is insert the power core and hit craft, and that's the only 2 clicks that you have to make now for grinding. Now, of course, if you want to actually get in here and customize the thing, it's going to require a bit more finesse. The next thing I'm going to go ahead and point out is this little slider bar over here, and I think this is a highly requested item. By default, before, if you wanted an assault item or a support item, you basically had to go through your list and figure out what was what. Now, you can make any item, whatever bloody thing you want, just by this little slider. And you see, as I'm sliding it back and forth, if you look at the assault rating and support rating, you can see how they are now flipping back and forth. So very cool indeed. Now, let's take a look at our sockets here. Again, they are using a colored socket system. So you have 2 choices. You can either go ahead and match up the proper color, or you can choose to not do that. If you don't do that, it'll actually lessen the charges that you have down here. So again, you see this one's green. If I switch it over to a red, you see I automatically go -22 in the hole. So it wants us to go ahead and put a green in here, and then this color is sort of a brownish tannish color. When you actually take a look at this, this is the new options. And you might notice that things look very, very different, and this all has to do with Wildstar's stat revamp. Now that's not something I'm going to go over in this video. That's a subject for a whole nother video that I might do down the road. But they've basically completely scrapped the stats, put in all new ones, and you can basically see what you now have to deal with, and they've got them color-coded as well. So we're going to go back to a green here, just so we're matching things up. And you can slowly start to experiment with your stats. And again, I said by default this is already maxed out, so anything you do is going to automatically overcharge this thing. Now, if there's one stat you want more than the other, you can actually undercharge it, and that will give you the ability to put more into perhaps the other one that you are looking for. But once you have everything all figured out, you know, we're going to do an 11% chance to fail on this. We're going to go ahead and hit craft, hope for the best, and there we go. We actually got lucky. So we can now jump into our inventory, and here are our new claws with our fancy rune slots. And the rune system is also something that's been completely redone, and again, another story for another video. Not going to get into that on this one. But let me go ahead and exit that. I'm going to actually go into a lesser weapon just so you can see what a smaller one looks like. So here is a level 12. And again, going back on what they're doing with the power cores, since this is a required level item 12, this is not going to let me put a power core in here that's anything higher than a 12. So I can make this a 12 or below level weapon based on the power core. So we'll go ahead and we'll load this one up. And you can see the interface on this is just slightly different. But here we've got a level 5. We'll go ahead and we'll throw that in there. And we can see what we have for options here. Now you can see, again, if I'm going with something that's not recommended, how the circle actually stays the same. It's that sort of whitish grayish color. So it really wants me to go ahead and match up with that. And it's pretty well maxed out as it is. I can't do much with it. We'll go ahead and hit craft. We're straight up at a 0%. And we have got us another claw. So let's just briefly go into a bunch more of the changes that have been done with this, because that's really what everybody is looking for. The next thing I will talk about is actually if we go into the talents here. When everybody gets into this, when it goes free to play, you'll want to take a really good look at the talents, because they have completely redone a bunch of what these are. So you make sure that when you're going through this, you take a really good look at exactly what you are now getting with this talent system. Another big issue that people were having, and maybe this was again probably top tier issues, and that is, and this is going to be the change now, all schematics are now in the tech tree or on a vendor. No more world drops, as the crowd cheers. Yay! No more world drops. Under the tech tree here, and I am not even quite sure if I can show it. I don't know if I can, but there is a thing, or at least there used to be a thing, called the research tree, and this has been replaced by the new system that they're calling the master tier. And when this conversion actually happens, they are going to match your progress whatever you had in the old system. A couple other items that sort of surround that. Some of the schematics or items required the Elden data fragments. Those are out of here. They are gone. Don't need them anymore. And crafting dailies have all been redone. And one of the neatest things about that is after you're running around potentially collecting them all you have to do is go back to the work order board to turn all of them in, so you don't have to run all over the place to be turning in stuff anymore. It's gone. It's fixed. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the changes that are happening to the circuit board crafting system. I think all these changes are pretty good. It's definitely going to allow people to probably craft better and more items. There was a little thing that they said that the higher tier items in crafting are going to be a lot better. They're going to be very on par with what the raiders are getting, but it appears that there are going to be some materials that are dropped in at least one of the raids, if not two. But these are going to be just bind on... What word do I want to use here? It's not bind on pickup. Bind on equip, I guess is the word I'm going to use. So these people in these raids will be able to get these and then give them to their friends, put them on the auction house, and you'll be able to get them that way if you are not a raider. But, ladies and gentlemen, that will go ahead and do it for the video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.